It's just a great movie.
An essential. So how did you really interpret the film?
Well, I think the first time I saw it, I didn't really understand the ending, to be quite honest. And this time I sort of asked myself, you know, is it all her fantasy? Was this something that she needed to go through and explore in order to open up to her husband?
You mean the ending, the fantasy?
I definitely love when any filmmaker gives me, you know, a debatable ending as to what really is going on. And I think that, you know, her whole exploration in this film, and it really comes together for me in the moment where Marcel asks her, if you are in love with him, why are you here with me? Or why are you here in this house? And that is the question of the film. Like, why is she doing this in order to open up? You know, she's in her bed with the sheets pulled up to her neck, but here she is performing
as a prostitute.
As a prostitute, yeah. You know, during the day. So, and then there's these surreal fantasies, you know, these delving into her childhood. The carriage, I think, is so interesting because it's empty at the end of the movie. So has she absolved herself of these things in reality or fantasy? I think it really stirs the imagination.
Yeah. You know, it really can also be interpreted that the whole thing is a fantasy.
Yeah.
That she never became a prostitute or anything.
That's what I was saying.
It was all in her mind,
yeah.
Everything. And I think that's fascinating to see it that way.
Yeah.
That maybe nothing really ever happened, that just her own, that free time she had and her own exploration in her mind, she fantasized the whole thing. That it never really happened.
Yeah.
I would love to know what her interpretation of it was when she made it. Or if she was just given instructions on what to do and Buñuel was saying this and that, or if they were after something that they weren't telling us.
Yeah, well, I also love that she had said in the press that she was a little nervous about this, that maybe it exposed more than she had anticipated going into it, but then she worked again with Buñuel years later.
And she was frightened of him, I understand, at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, because he was such a powerful man and director.
It's also an incredibly vulnerable position to put yourself in as a woman, so I can understand any apprehensions that she might have had, but the fact that she went and worked with him again sort of gave a validity that it wasn't a terrible experience. It was one that, you know, was something very daring for her.
Indeed. Well, let's move on. Don't go away. Up next, a preview of what's coming up next week on The Essentials. His Girl Friday, 1940.
This is the epitome of showmanship on film.
When you talk about on-screen chemistry, you'd have to mention Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell in this film.
I can't imagine anybody but Rosalind Russell in this role.
I think it's fair to say that this is the definitive screwball comedy. From 1940, His Girl Friday. That's next Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can find out more at tcm.com. Thanks for joining us for The Essentials.
Tonight on Turner Classic Movies, Bordello boss Barbara Stanwyck runs a tight ship in Walk on the Wild Side. Then Ruth Chatterton risks it all for her son as Frisco Jenny. And life imitates Vincent Price's horrific art in Madhouse.
Hi, this is the TCM Classic Movie News Report for